Hi, how's your summer? I just came back from a fun 3-day trip with my friend. We went to a very pleasant place and enjoyed relaxing times. To start working, I need to feed myself first. Today's menu is simple: rice and stir-fried minced pork with cabbage. Lately, I've been trying to practice digital drawing more. When I first got Procreate, I downloaded a bunch of brush packs. In reality, I used like 3 or 4 brushes for a drawing. Well, for sketching, I tend to pick a kind of brush with a thin, soft stroke. These are my go-to brushes for digital drawing. You can see I'm using this 3D model called Loomis head. It's a really famous technique for drawing heads. Instead of just guessing where the facial features go and ending up with something all distorted, this method helps you build the skull structure and proportions first, then draw the details on top. Kind of like how you need a steel frame before you can build a house. The idea is to divide the head into 2 basic shapes: the cranium, a sphere, and the jaw, a cube. Then you draw the axis and divide the face into 3 equal vertical sections, from the hairline to the eyebrows, from the eyebrows to the bottom of the nose, and from the bottom of the nose to the chin. With this framework, you can easily figure out where everything goes and draw the head from any angle. When you change the angle, like tilting your head, looking down, or looking up, the face's proportions don't actually change, but they look distorted because of perspective. For example, when the head turns left or right, the center line of the face curves along the sphere, so it's not straight anymore. The distance from the left eye to the nose bridge to the right eye gets shorter depending on how far the head is turned. The eye that's farther away looks smaller than the one closer to you because of perspective. But don't stick to the template too rigidly. Every face has its own unique features. I usually use Loomis as a springboard, then adjust freely based on what I actually see. Unlike realistic painting, which requires almost perfect accuracy, illustration lets you freely stylize and get creative without any limits. Every artist has their own design style, and for me, the most important thing is knowing how to tweak the facial features to match the character's personality. Like, an innocent girl would have big round eyes, while a cold, aloof guy would have sharper, more angular features. It's that kind of flexibility that really brings a drawing to life, making the character feel more lively and layered. Sometimes, I look up some references on Pinterest. To illustrate this character, try picking out some standout features, like light curly hair, a plaid shirt, and a scarf. On the right side, I'll do a portrait, just from the head down to the chest, and focus on the facial details. I really like the sitting pose and outfit of this reference, so I'll keep them as is. But you can change a few things like the face direction, hand pose, or some accessories if you want. While you're drawing digitally, remember to zoom in and out often so you can keep an eye on the overall composition. Before coloring it, you can look up some references on Harmony color palettes. Instead of using lots of ready-made skin tones, I usually stick to just 3 or 4 colors and mix everything from there. For example, I might start with a dark cream for the base layer. This is a warm, neutral color. Use a large flat brush to lay down the skin tone. Next, use a soft brush to add a light peachy orange on the cheeks, tip of the nose, lips, and chin. And a purple blue for the shadow areas, because skin shadows usually lean cool. With only 4 colors, you can create a full range of skin tones, from warm highlights to cool shadows, making the skin look much more natural and alive than painting everything with a single flat skin color. For the eyes, I keep things simple. My main color is a bluish gray-brown. At first, I wanted to draw sparkly eyes like this, but after adjusting, I realized I shouldn't use too many colors for the eyes. Just adding a white catchlight makes them look pretty sparkly already. I start by laying down a light layer of color first, then gradually build up the darker layers. The last step is refining the highlights. If you're drawing digitally, you can use blending modes. Blending modes are basically how the software calculates blending the top layer's color with a layer underneath, instead of simply covering it. I use multiply, screen, and overlay / soft light mostly. Each mode has its own purpose. As for the details on how to use them, I'll make another video about that. To paint the hair, create a new layer underneath your line art. Choose a neutral color, not too light and not too dark, and use a hard brush to fill in the entire hair area. Don't rush into drawing individual strands right away. Instead, think of the hair as one big shape, like a sphere or a bunch of ribbons. Next, decide where your light source is coming from. Use a darker color to mark the areas that don't get much light. Once you've blocked in those big shadow shapes, you can start using lighter colors to paint the hair strands that sit on top. Have you ever felt like it's really hard to learn coloring just by copying others? I think it's because everyone sees color in different ways. The colors in a painting aren't just the objective colors of the real world. They are how each artist perceives and interprets the world. I've read a lot of books and watched plenty of videos about color theory. I can talk about warm, cool contrast, analogous color schemes, complementary colors, all that stuff. But when I actually picked up my brush, my hand just couldn't do what my brain knew. It took me a long time to realize that learning color isn't just about learning the theory. It's also about training your eye and your hand to work together. You can know all the theory in the world, but if you don't practice, you'll never truly feel color. So I started spending time every day mixing colors directly, instead of just using pre-made ones. I began mixing different color harmonies. Little by little, my eyes and hands remembered the blends, and I didn't have to think so much while painting. Over time, I naturally learned which colors work well together and build my own go-to color palette. For this painting, I used mostly neutral tones to give it a slightly vintage feel. I think that suits the character's outfit perfectly. To keep the artwork from looking too plain, I added a background and a few decorative elements around the character. I wanted to add even more details, but that might make it too cluttered, so I decided to hold back on the details. And there we go. I'm all done now. If you guys want me to make a tutorial on something specific, let me know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. And be sure to turn on notifications so you won't miss any future drawing tutorials. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.